Hey everybody, brand new hour here on KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Today is Tuesday, July 7th. If you didn't hear it, you're going to see it this morning as you walk out. We're talking about weather and a lot of rain. Rain fell in the metro overnight. This is a live shot of what it looks like at this time. As you can see, streets are still wet. It was coming down, ever since about 1 o'clock this morning, and it's still coming down in parts of the state. Let's get right to Kristen Curry. Is more on the way, Kristen?
Yes, Crystal, a lot more is on the way when it comes to the storms and showers. We're still dealing with a little bit of that overnight rain just to the east of the metro area, up and around the mountains at this point, and even into the northern mountains is where we're looking at some of the significant shower activity. You're waking up to rain in Estancia, Edgewood, Cedar Crest, up to the north, Santa Fe, as well as parts of the Jemez Mountains still dealing with this rain. So this is just a bonus of what we expect to develop later this afternoon. So the spotty morning showers will likely to continue to diminish as we head further towards sunrise, but round two arrives this afternoon. Temperatures are really going to hurt because of all that rain that we had this morning and the cloud cover expected this afternoon. We are nowhere near where we should be when it comes to those July temperatures, and we have a lot more rain in that extended 7-day forecast as well. So I'm going to be breaking down the details, tell you what you need to know for your neighborhood coming up here in about 10 minutes.
And as Kristen mentioned, the storm causing rain for parts of the state, including here in the metro. This is what it looked like yesterday evening near Paseo and I-25. Downtown, people popped open their umbrellas as the rain came down. In the South Valley, winds were so strong it tosses trampoline into the air, finally landing on a shed completely upside down. And as Kristen said, the storm is likely to continue for several more days, as she will continue tracking the very latest. We turn now to this. The trial is off. A plea deal is expected for the woman involved in a chaotic traffic stop near Taos 2 years ago.
And if the judge okays it, Oriana Farrell will go straight to sentencing. News 13's Catherine Mazzone is in the Newsplex following the latest for us. Catherine?
Well, that's right, Adam. It's hard to forget this shocking dash cam video. A mother behind the wheel of a minivan fleeing from state police with her kids in the car. Oriana Farrell was set to go on trial on Monday, but now it looks like that won't happen. Attorneys say they've reached a plea deal in the case.
And I think we're just waiting for the signed agreement.
I think it's about as close to justice as we can get in a human environment.
Well, this all started on highway outside of Taos in October of 2013. A traffic stop for speeding gone wrong. Farrell decided couldn't decide rather if she wanted to pay the ticket or fight it in court, and drove off when the rookie officer went back to his car to ask for help. The officer stopped her again, then got in a shuffle while trying to arrest her. Farrell's son tried to fight the officer, who bashed out the windows of Farrell's van. And now former state police officer shot at Farrell's minivan 3 times as it drove away. 5 kids were inside. Farrell was eventually arrested and charged with child abuse, aggravated fleeing, and having a marijuana. Wouldn't discuss details of the plea deal, but the judge said the court would likely accept it. Back to you.
And the officer who fired shots here, Elias Montoya, was fired and now works as a Taos County Sheriff's deputy. We're going to be in the courtroom for Monday's hearing. We'll bring you all the details here on KRQE News 13. And for additional details on the case right now, go to the KRQE News app.
We turn on to this morning. The city and APD, they're getting ready to shell out more money to settle yet another lawsuit, this time for a man who spent more than a year behind bars before his case was dismissed. Police say DNA proved Jeremy Gatsky broke into a woman's home and raped her back in 2012, but his DNA was only a partial match, meaning it could have linked thousands of others to the crime. The city and APD settled the lawsuit and will now pay him $250,000. And the lawsuits keep coming. News 13 has learned the sister of a Vietnam vet shot and killed by APD is now suing the department. That happened 2 years ago when police say Vincent Wood lunged at an officer with a pair of knives. The lawsuit claims the department and the city failed to protect Wood under the Americans with Disabilities Act. It says APD knew of Wood's mental illness because of previous altercations he had with law enforcement.
5:05 this morning, Dylan Redwine's father says he believes that he might be the new person of interest in his son's death. Investigators announced a break in the case last week, saying a retired FBI criminal profiler had found new evidence and a person of interest in the 2012 investigation. They're not giving any more details right now, but Mark Redwine told the Denver Post this weekend he thinks they're eyeing him again. The FBI profiler told the paper he wants to talk with Redwine face to face. Redwine, they say, will only talk with them over the phone.
New this morning, listen to this. A New Mexico man is suing Facebook, claiming the social media site is sending him unwanted text messages. According to Santa Fe New Mexican, James Hamilton filed the suit with the U.S. District Court, saying the dozens of messages he got invade his privacy. The suit says Hamilton does not have a Facebook page and has no interest in the site. Still, he says he's gotten 54 text messages saying he has messages on Facebook. Hamilton says he tried and failed to get the messages to stop, even by calling the FCC and Facebook itself. He wants Facebook to cover court costs and pay between $500 to $1,500 for each one of those texts that he received.
Happening today, the leaders of Greece are expected to meet with creditors after voters rejected a debt bailout package. A new finance minister will lead negotiations to help Greece reach a deal with its creditors and keep it in the Eurozone. Last week, the country failed to pay a $1.7 billion loan payment to the International Monetary Fund. Many people's retirement accounts hold European stocks, so experts say you might lose a little money in the next few days, but things are expected to recover eventually. On to this, developing right now, a top quarterback at Florida State University is off the team following the release of security camera video. You may find it pretty shocking, but you're going to see former FSU quarterback DeAndre Johnson punch a woman here. It happened at a Tallahassee nightclub last October, and it appears that Johnson and the woman were both trying to get a position at the bar at the same time. She took a swing at him. He responds by hitting her. He turned himself into the Leon County Sheriff's Office June 30th, and he was kicked off the team and suspended from the university in the same day, and that was last month that happened.
We turn on to this. So later today, a recovery mission will start back up again at the Big Fork Ice Caves. That's about 70 miles northeast of Seattle. Investigators say one person was killed there when part of the melting cave collapsed. The victim's body is still inside.
Because conditions of the ice are so dangerous at this point, teams from Everett Mountain Rescue and other search and rescue volunteers are looking at the conditions of the ice to see how safe it is.
Yesterday, rescue choppers rushed one woman and two men to a nearby hospital in serious condition. Their injuries range from cuts to the head and leg fractures. The U.S. Forest Service has warned hikers not to go into these caves in recent months, but many hikers ignore the warnings. Everyone, welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Kristen Gutierrez.
I'm Adam Atchison. Good to have you with us. Tuesday, July 7th. We're going to get to the top stories in just a bit. First, we're talking about the big rain that we got overnight and storms.
Since way, early overnight. That's right. Soggy roads across the metro. Take a look at video just into our newsroom. We have crews out in the city with you to let you know what it looks like as you start your morning drive. But the big question this morning is it going to continue? Let's get right to Kristen Curry on this.
Good morning, guys. Yes, we do have more rain in store, but it will happen late this afternoon. We'll likely see a break for those lunchtime hours before those afternoon storms develop. Let's talk temps, because we'll notice a big drop in those numbers today. Right now, only 63 here in the Duke City, 50s up in the northern mountains, not as many 70s on the map further across southern New Mexico. We're down 4 degrees here in the Duke City, but 13 degrees cooler up in Clayton, and most of the state is looking at least a little bit of a cool down. This afternoon, that cool down will be more noticeable. Spotty morning showers still out there, especially lying across the central portions of the state. Later today, the western half of the state will likely be dodging another round of those afternoon storms and showers. Temperatures well below average across the state, and really the rain is not looking to let up anytime soon. We have more storm chances in the forecast tomorrow. Those continue Thursday, Friday. I'll break down all those details for you and show you how much rain we expect this afternoon and where those storms will fire. All that coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Kristen. We start with this. New this morning, a New Mexico lawmaker's social media rant about the Social Security office in Albuquerque. It's probably something you can relate to. Congresswoman Michelle Lujan Grisham took to social media saying she spent the day waiting in line in what she calls, quote, unacceptable conditions. She said there were about 100 people waiting in line with no chairs, left in the heat, and offered no water. She now wants changes, saying she hopes to meet with regional managers to overhaul the major problems that she saw firsthand.
Meantime, it's 5:32. Police say it could have ended in tragedy. A suspected drunk driver speeding the wrong way down the highway.
And it was all caught on camera. News 13's Catherine Mazzone is in the Newsplex with details on this. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. An early morning 911 call and quick action from officers could have saved lives. Here's why. Take a look at this video. A Santa Fe police officer spots the car at around 3 a.m. Monday morning on Highway 599. But despite lights and sirens, the driver speeds past the officer. Finally, the officer catches up and pulls him over. The man is identified as 72-year-old Joe Vigil. Get this, he thought he was in Albuquerque. What's more, Vigil denied drinking, despite the fact officers could clearly see open containers in his car. One by one, Vigil failed each of the sobriety field tests officers gave him. Vigil was arrested and charged with DWI, and police say this isn't the first time either. Back to you.
All right, thanks. Now, police say Vigil took a breath test and blew a .21 and a .20. That's nearly 3 times over the legal limit. Police say Vigil did have an open beer container and 2 small open bottles of vodka in his car, but he also told police that his friends drank them.
Meantime, developing now, the state hopes a new ad will scare people into not drinking and driving. In a warning, some video that we're about to show you here, some people may consider it disturbing.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that can happen?
Now, the Department of Transportation, as you can see, is going for shock value to combat DWI, texting while driving, and people not buckling up.
But these ads are very realistic about what can happen and what a crash looks like, and it's scary. And hopefully that'll scare some people into, obeying the law.
State police say they support the ads, saying it's better to see them in an ad than in real life. What do you think about all this? You can join the conversation right now. We've got a post at the top of the KRQE Facebook page, and you can weigh in.
We turn now to news happening today. Senate lawmakers in South Carolina will meet once again, this time for a 3rd and final vote on whether to remove the Confederate flag from Capitol grounds there. The Senate overwhelmingly voted in favor of the move yesterday, 3 weeks after the Charleston church shooting massacre. The legislation still needs a 2/3 majority in the state house.
All night long, you've been a part of the conversation on the KRQE Facebook page, sounding off on the Confederate flag controversy. Maybe we have one comment to share for you here, like our viewer Rudy M, who jokes, take it down, put it in a museum, or put the Mexican flag at the Alamo. But while some are for the flag to come down, some question whether removing it will have much impact in a broader scope. Like Samantha B, who writes, removal of the flag will not change history or the current issues with racism. Let your voice be heard, too. You can remember to join the conversation right now on the KRQE Facebook page.
A lot of people are going to be talking about this. New this morning, the fight heard around the world is all the buzz this morning. Floyd Mayweather is now stripped of the welterweight world title that he won in the match against Manny Pacquiao back in May. It's all over technicalities. According to ESPN, Mayweather failed to pay the $200,000 sanctioning fee by deadline for the fight that he actually won, $220 million. He also didn't give up 2 junior middleweight titles. Per the rules, you cannot hold world titles in multiple weight classes. You can still appeal, though. New facts this morning, more fallout for Bill Cosby in the wake of the shocking deposition where the sitcom dad admits to getting drugs for sex with women, an admission that seems to support the more than 25 women who've accused Cosby of sexual assault. The comedian has never faced criminal charges and has denied any wrongdoing. But attorneys now say this deposition could change that.
Arguably, this statement, which was made within the statute of limitations within the last 10 years, could be used by a DA or a prosecutor to bring charges against him. He's got real legal jeopardy at this point, which is why he's fighting this.
So only portions of the transcript were released, which leaves more questions like, did he ever give the drugs to women without their knowledge? Cosby has yet to comment on this.
Time now is 5:37. News 13 has learned whose body was found partially buried and covered with a concrete slab. APD says it's 49-year-old Patricia Platero. Her family reported her missing in Tohajali in May. They say she was last seen in April, and someone walking in the area on Thursday saw her hand sticking out of the dirt in a field near I-40 in Coors. Police have not said how she died yet. There are reports that she was a witness to 2 recent murders, but police have found no evidence of that. Happening this morning, a suspicious death investigation getting underway in Valencia County. State police and Valencia County deputies will investigate. Just before 6 yesterday morning, police say they responded to a call about a shooting at a home off Highway 47 east of Berlin. When they arrived, they found a man dead in the kitchen. Police are not saying if that man was shot.
Take a look at this new video this morning. It's giving us a better look at that plane crash that injured a 12-year-old boy. Right here, cell phone video captures the 4th of July crash when a single-engine plane crash landed into a crowded beach in Carlsbad, California. The pilot was able to walk away from all this, but a 12-year-old boy, Nicholas, he did suffer a minor cut to his head. He's expected to be okay. Yesterday, his mother told reporters he's mostly upset that he had to shave his head for this.
The video does give you a new perspective on it because I think the one before was a little bit further off, so this shows you how close it was to be.
Yeah, very close. Very close call for a lot of people there.